Bo Nickal is different. Not because he's ginger. No. Not because he has chimpanzee ears. Not that either. It's because he's arguably the best collegiate wrestler of the modern era. Yet in his MMA career so far, he hasn't really shot that many takedowns. Bo in his first MMA debut didn't even shoot a takedown. Only striked and won by knockout. He just fought at UFC 290. And if you looked through the cesspool that is Instagram MMA, you'd see pretty much every single person on the planet was predicting a Bo Nickal round 1 ragdoll. But that's the key word, ragdoll. We most certainly did not get a ragdoll. In fact, Bo only shot 1 takedown and he did not fully commit to that takedown. It was basically a feint. Well, I think there's 2 glaring reasons for this. Today in MMA, if you ask the average fan, name a couple UFC wrestlers, they'd go, it's Khamzat Chimaev, Islam Makhachev, and those are the guys we're used to seeing. They're who come to mind when you say wrestling in MMA. But Bo Nickal wrestles with a different style than they do. You see, in America, at the high school and at the college level, they are doing Folkstyle wrestling. Every other country does freestyle wrestling. The Olympics is freestyle wrestling. Khamzat, Islam, they are freestyle wrestlers. I know Islam does sambo, but his wrestling style, it's freestyle. They are 2 different rule sets. They have a lot of similarities, but primarily the main difference you're going to see between a folk style and a freestyle wrestler is folk style, the emphasis is put more on control and pinning your opponent. Freestyle, the emphasis is scoring points through positional advantages. In freestyle wrestling, you're going to see more explosive shots, more scrambles on the ground. Whereas, go on YouTube and look up a Bo Nickal wrestling match from when he was with Penn State, and you're going to see him finding these pins through these crazy transitions that I've never seen done at a level this high before. Look up a Khamzat Chimaev wrestling match and you're probably going to see him cartwheeling over his opponent. Now obviously this is a very abbreviated summary in the difference of wrestling styles, but a lot of people mistake Khamzat shooting at Kevin Holland's legs from 20 feet out and then rolling with him through a bunch of Granby rolls as just that's what high-level wrestlers can do. Well, that's his wrestling style. That's not really what Bo does. But I know what you're thinking. What on earth does that have to do with Bo not using his wrestling that much? And the answer is that actually has nothing to do with why he doesn't use his wrestling that much, just why he's different. The reason why he's not using his wrestling much is this. As I talked about in my problems with wrestling in MMA video, the days of the pure specialist are long gone. I remember during the peak Khabib era, there was this kind of narrative I would see around of people saying, I think in 20 years the UFC is going to be 99% wrestling. There's going to be so many young kids in Dagestan who grow up wrestling, who idolize Khabib, whose dreams to be in the UFC. A lot of American kids are going to be watching the UFC as it continues to grow and get more popular, and they're all going to be wrestling. But that can't be further from the truth. As the sport of mixed martial arts grows and evolves, what we're going to see is more and more well-rounded fighters. Like I said, Khabib, Islam, they're not wrestlers. They are complete masters at grappling. All aspects of grappling. Wrestling, judo, jiu-jitsu. Islam, he takes it a step farther and is a world-class striker too. Throwing punches in the pocket with Alexander Volkanovski. Look at how much the sport's already evolved in just the last couple years. Khabib's title defenses were against Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje. Right? There were no other up-and-comers that were interesting fights for him. Look at the division now. Gamrot, Arman Tsarukyan, Beneil Dariush, Charles Oliveira, Alexander Volkanovski. Khabib still probably beats all those guys, but those are way tougher fights. Bo Nickal knows all this. He's very aware of the fact that the days of just grabbing guys and manhandling them like Ben Askren did, that doesn't exist anymore. Guys are way too well-rounded. They're way too good. You need to have a complete, diverse skill set. Sure, Israel Adesanya still specializes in striking, but oh my mother flippin' God. This guy only cuts like 8 pounds to make 185, and he gets pushed up against the fence by these big, bricky, fridge Marvin Mattori motherfuckers. And what can't they do? They can't take him down. His takedown defense is way too good. His takedown defense is world class. And Bo, being a very smart guy, goes, you know what? My wrestling's already there. My wrestling is as high level as you can get. Obviously, there's work it takes to transition that into MMA, which of course he's doing. But he's getting all his other skills right up to par with. He's finishing guys off his back with triangles, submitting guys with arm triangles, using his takedown threat purely as a feint to land strikes. Look, say what you will about Val Woodburn. I understand he's a part-time tree trimmer or something, but look, the dude can crack. He's 7-0, he had never fought in the UFC before. Okay, well, Bo was 4-0, right? This guy can crack. He launched a right hand that was dangerously close to landing, and even Daniel Cormier said, oh, you gotta shoot on this guy. Oh, this guy hits hard, you need to shoot on him. Bo did shoot a takedown, but it was purely just to feel him out. There was absolutely zero sense of urgency that he needed to get this fight to the ground. And then he cracks him and then knocks this guy out. It's simple. It's not enough to just be a U23 world champion wrestler like Nickal is. That's just not enough. You need to have a completely well-rounded skill set if you're going to survive in today's MMA. And he is developing that in front of our very eyes. And that is why Bo Nickal is different.